Hello, and welcome to the video. I hope you enjoy.
So, what's happened, when I checked through all the nerfs that we've had, most of the nerfs are because of PvP in Destiny. Yeah. And the thing is that, like, Titans are, like, the most busted in PvP, and I sit there and I go, it makes sense, though, why we're the most busted in PvP, because we're supposed to be, I am the tank, and I will punch you in the next millennium. That's really how they are. That's how Titans are supposed to be. They have the hardest hitting melee in the game, and it's meant for that. It makes sense. But in PvP, they were destructive.
Yeah.
But the problem is that Bungie did the worst, and I mean did the worst. But when they nerf anything because of PvP, it nerfs the PvE at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on a second.
Alright. Right, welcome everyone to this to the Wednesday Warframe stream. This is Shaggy, and we were talking about the different games, and he was just elaborating on why he's no longer
playing
fan of Destiny. Welcome. We plan to do this every Wednesday, and let's get into it.
I will warn for me specifically. When I have my therapist's appointment, it's usually around this time.
Yeah.
So this week I'm able to, but I cannot
guarantee it every week. Yeah.
I cannot guarantee it every week. Yeah.
No worries. Would you want it earlier in the day on the Wednesday? Or
on the Wednesday, if it's possible, it'll be later in the day.
Later in the day? We could
because I usually get back around like 3 o'clock my time if my grandma doesn't go off to the grocery store. If she does, then I don't get back till 5, which is way late for you. I don't want to put you way too late.
That's true.
So on Wednesdays, I'll just hit you up like, hey, I won't be able to join you this Wednesday. Just go without me. Yeah. If you want to try and keep your schedule going, because I don't want to ruin your schedule as well.
Yeah.
I don't have a schedule.
No worries. So, whatever time on Wednesday. So, for example, if you know that you've got an appointment coming up, we could always, do earlier in the Wednesday or later, whatever. We'll work it out. It's all good.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I gotta answer my little brother's question.
Right. So I'm just going to read this update. So, moments of despair, let the battle resonate with song. Jade Shadow brings out the newest Warframe. Jade, a glorious herald of both life and death. Delve into long-held secrets of the Origin system and our new Ascension game mode. And latest cinematic quest. Latest cinematic quest, okay. Meet Jade.
Yeah. The thing is that
invoke a solemn yet methodic hymns of chores. The newest Warframe sings songs of devastation as she heralds both life and death across the Origin system's many battlefields. Through her, the Jade Light can be a source of destruction or source of support. Cool. Ascending new mode. Introducing our newest mission type, Ascension. Stalkers Stronghold is under intensive assault from marauding Corpus.
You won't be able to play that game mode, by the way.
But what they are after remains safe. Bring your Warframe gameplay to new heights with this game mode, available at Uranus after completing the Jade Shadow quest. I don't think I've unlocked it yet, but yeah.
You won't be able to get that until you've at least finished the new war.
Yeah.
Which is far, and I mean far out there.
Small update, but mate, they've changed. They did to overhaul a game massive. I wish there was more lore connected to Jade and Trinity though. Alright, tell us more about that, friend. And welcome to the chat, by the way. Welcome.
So the thing is that, like, with Jade and Trinity,
yeah,
Trinity didn't have a lot of lore really to her. I mean, you get Trinity from Pluto. Titania is probably what he's probably thinking about is Titania, right. Not Trinity. So Jade, the mission for Jade, I'm not gonna spoil it, but the mission for Jade is kind of short.
All right. Well, we'll get there when you get there. No worries.
Yeah.
Find these Xmas variants whenever Xmas spawn. But be wary of their Jade Light. Okay, so new enemies. Okay, cool. Touch you. So better be quick. Okay. Enemies scaling and status changes. Okay.
Yeah, the Jade, they changed up a lot of the
Renew your arsenal with new enemies scaling and status changes. Okay, so they've updated that. Cold blast magnetic damage has changed to a status type and much more. Okay. And new waves of fashion. Okay, strike fourth. Yeah, strike fourth from a watery depth with power of, I don't even know how to say that. In her new deluxe skin. Okay, so a new skin for her. Cool. Okay. New items. See them all. Trade collection. Okay. Okay.
How did the Bongo frames yet? Or is the wrong? That's the wrong code. Wrong.
Okay.
But
Jade
more on
stuff. The bundle for. Okay. She looks like she's got pearls for eyes. It's like a sea theme. Okay.
It's not really supposed to be a sea theme for Jade. She's supposed to be like the biblically accurate angels.
Okay.
Which she's kind of based off from. Yeah.
And then we've got a Terra landing craft. Okay. Cool. Alright, let's continue.
Ordis is pleased to see you.
Let's get to it.
In your codex.
Oh, I've got things on my throat. Let's go remove that first.
Operator, the communication.
You can keep it, make sure it has a tassel on it. When it has a tassel on it, you can put it in a Kubro egg, and you get an infested helmet charger.
Okay, so
You
keep
get
it.
a whole new pet.
Keep it.
You can keep it if you want to get the helmet charger.
Sure, why not? Okay. Let's see what I've got cooking in the forge.
Gotta put on my Atomos for younger bro, because he feels like his Atomos is like really his best weapon, and I'm just gonna send him something so he can see it.
Not enough components. Oh, we need more alloys. Okay. 20 more of these.
Ordis keeps a tidy ship, and is therefore reluctant to allow animals on board. In Ordis's experience,
Not enough components. Oh, wait, I need to go get some ore. Okay.
Reload.
Cop run ore. Okay. Do you know where to get some cop run ore?
What ore?
I got how Smith Charger called him. Nice. He's the goodest boy. I don't even know what that charger is. What's that?
The helmet charger is
Okay.
it is supposed to be like quite a decently strong blubber.
Well, I don't have any pets at the minute. How do I get a pet? you can go mining. It's a whole
You wanna
quest.
go?
Nice.
You wanna go mining?
I want to go get some, Corpus alloy. Because I'm
Corpus
building her body, and her neural stuff, and then her systems.
Oh, are you trying to make Gara right now?
I am, yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't focus that immediately, by the way.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm going to be dead honest. I would not immediately focus straight on the Warframes. I would say you focus more on the Warframes when you got a little bit of your star chart mostly done.
Okay. So
At least for the open world,
what should I
unless
focus on now then?
because. So let me explain a little bit more on that specifically.
Mm.
When you're trying to get your standing done with the with your like your Cetus and so with your open worlds, when you're trying to get the standing done with them, you can easily farm the stuff, like the resources that you need for those Warframes during that, but you don't need to focus it, if that makes any sense. You don't have to focus it immediately. Okay. Yeah, because I left for a minute.
Oh, no.
Cool. I went somewhere specific. So.
Alright.
But when it comes to let me send you both invites here. But yeah, when it comes to doing that, you don't have to focus immediately in it, because in reality, like when we would do a bounty, then you would go, then we go into the mines getting that stuff, then we go out, go do bounties, go back, go mining, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah. He means doing two things at once, so just getting Gara done later is better for your time goal. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Hence why I need someone to help me know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay. And that's my younger brother, by the way.
No worries. Welcome to the stream, buddy. Yeah.
He doesn't watch.
Yeah, well.
He doesn't watch either of our streams.
No worries.
Yeah. Alright. So, we go where you need to get your Star Trek finished.
How do I know what that is?
Okay, so you'll see, like, when you go to, like, Venus or something like that, you'll see a bunch of, like, nodes that are blue or blink blue.
So
those are the
go
ones
to
you
navigation. Yeah.
Go to navigation. Yep, and he left squad on accident.
No worries.
He's done that.
Okay, so all the places that are flashing blue, yeah?
Yeah, all the places that are flashing blue.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and re-invite him. There we go. Yeah, so anything that's flashing blue means you need to go get them done.
Okay.
Okay. Kilken is excavation. Alright. In order to complete this node, we at least need to finish one drill.
I don't know what that means, but sounds groovy, baby. Groovy,
okay,
baby.
For excavation, drill drops down. We just make sure we keep the batteries in it, and we make sure it stays alive. After it's finished, then we can leave. That's what it means by finishing a drill.
Cool. Fair enough.
Yep.
But, yeah. Cool.
But yeah, so
thank you
I
for
went
the follow,
all...
my friend. Thank you.
Here in search of lost artifacts and items buried deep below the surface.
But for the discussion on with, like, in more depth for, like, how I was not too happy with Destiny, is when I went through the count of, like, comparing all of the classes, that, all three classes of Hunter, Warlock, and Titan, I went through, like, how many times has, each one been nerfed over the history of Destiny, right?
Yeah.
And I was absolutely shell-shocked when I started counting for how many times us Titans have been nerfed in total over the years. Now, this is over the years, everyone, not recently. This is over the years of time that the game has been going through. We've had more Titans have had more nerfs than buffs. and I counted 172 nerfs for Titan. For Hunter, it was only about 37, and Warlock was 52. That's it.
Yeah.
So already the disparity in the amount of nerfs that the frickin' Titans have gone through compared to buffs. Buffs, I will say, Titans have received.
So why do you think they've been doing that then? Is it just
a lot of the nerfs I paid attention to were mostly because of PvE problems, or not PvE problems, PvP problems. The only two times, there's only 2 times in all of Destiny's history for Titans nerfs were because of PvE, and that's it. Only 2. Both made a little bit of sense, but they went overboard though. So for PvP, or not PvP, PvE, the 2 times was when Solar got a rework. What happened was Titans were able to solo raids. Raids, by the way, if nobody knows what they're like, it usually requires 6 people to beat the raid. Usually. It's supposed to be required to have 6 people to beat the raid. Soloing raids means you are too destructive, and you do not need to worry about having multiple people to solo the raid.
Yeah.
You can literally do it by yourself. So Titans were able to solo like a couple of raids with the big hammer. Alright, let's extract. If you choose. So what happened in the long run was when they decided to go, okay, we need to nerf the Solar Titan, they're soloing raids. The big outlier though was I was like, well, you're gonna nerf the Warlocks and Hunters, right? Because they're also soloing raids. They didn't touch the Hunters and Warlocks during that nerf. And the problem was that they over-nerfed. So they didn't nerf only Solar, they nerfed everything in the Titan kit.
Okay.
Everything. I was like, it was Solar that was the issue. What was the reason for all of these other nerfs? These other nerfs that they received, it was not even that they were over-healing or they had over-shield so often. It was nothing. Good extraction, by the way. So I was just like, what the hell? Then it came to the Strand Titan, so when we had Lightfall, right?
Yeah.
Strand Titans were becoming absolute juggernauts, and if they did their stuff correctly, they would never die with Banner of War on top of that. But listen to the words that I state. If done correctly, Titans have always been very conditional for the stuff that they do to get themselves going. Hunters and Warlocks, they're one tap done. And that's just at the base kits. It's not counting the armors. That's just the base kits.
Are you extracted already?
Yeah, I was at extraction. I was like, wow, let's go. We only need to do 1.
Oh, I'm just killing stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah. You only need to do 1. We're gonna try getting you through the star chart as quickly as possible.
Cool beans, cool beans. In my opinion, another Titan player main, we just want to do a thing well, but when we do kind of make everyone jealous, haha, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah. And
I
on top of
think
that,
it's gonna get better with time.
No. So I understand, my fellow Titan man. I understand, but I've looked at the changes that they're gonna do for Titan. It's not enough to save Titan anymore. If what they're looking at, and if all what they're going to be doing for the changes for them is just going to be it, like they're not going to do anything else after that, they will have to literally gut, and I mean gut, the other 2 classes for it to be up on par. I kid you not. The other two will literally have to start getting gutted and gutted and gutted and gutted and gutted.
So,
to actually get back
just
on par
refresh
with
my
us.
memory on the other two classes of Destiny then. So what are the other two classes?
Hunters and warlocks.
So, Warlocks are the lightning dudes,
Mages.
right?
They're the mages.
Right. So, okay.
Not really lightning. Like, you have multiple different subclasses. You have solar, which is fire, arc, which is of course the lightning. You have stasis, which is the ice. You have strand, which is, well, the green stuff. You have void, which is the purple. And that's it. Prismatic is just, it puts all of them combined, but only has certain pieces here and there of them.
Yeah.
What I state is Titans were the most conditional that out of all the three classes. As I said already, I'm gonna repeat that for a couple of times because it's to put a point in that with hunters and warlocks, they're one and dones. They tap one button and then boom, they're good to go. Freaking on top of that, the hunters and warlocks, for their armors even, their armors haven't received as much nerfs as us Titans have.
Yeah.
You know how to bullet jump, by the way? Or do you not remember how to bullet jump?
What, on Warframe? No,
yeah,
I need to remember how to do that, yeah.
Basically when you're crouching, you hit jump at the same time you crouch.
Crouching.
You gotta crouch and then jump. So that'll be left control, then jump.
Alright.
Me and my little brother, we have it
controller, jump. Okay. Alright. I'm on mouse and keyboard, but yeah.
No, it's left control. Like the left of your CTLR.
Control. Oh, that's right.
You are here.
This one? I gotcha.
Yeah. Like crouch and then jump. That's bullet jump. So, the thing is that I will say this with full heart and full chest. They have to gut the other two if what they're doing is all that they're going to do and they're not going to help Titans after that. Like, if Titans don't get any extra help after that, then the other two need to be nerfed to hell and back.
Yeah.
That is the evidence. To make it purely balanced, to make the game balanced, they'd have to literally put a hammer to the other two classes' balls. Like, I kid you not. You'd have to put a Titan-sized hammer into their ball sack for nerfs. To actually make it balanced at that point. If what we're looking at right now for what Bungie says they're going to do, it's not going to be enough. As a man who pays attention a lot to pure balance for MMOs and any game that I play, there's a lot of games that come out and they have pure balance in reality. Like, the newest game that came out literally yesterday, I was playing on stream, Gestalt. It perfectly balanced out both gun and blade, looking at what the whole game gives to offer for both gun and blade.
Warframe piano, you're gonna get used to it real quick. Shift, control, spacebar, shift, control, spacebar. Fair enough.
Yeah.
See, I go. Was it spacebar and then middle mouse button? That's that's what I do.
But
boom, baby.
But at the same time,
and we've got a fourth slot if streamer friend wants to join.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But
chat friends. Yeah. Also, since you're in the chat, well, others as well. I need to come up with like a name for chat. I mean, it is chat. That's the simplest. But also like sayings for when we raid other people. So I've got gold senses regards, you know, like a pirate captain would. You know. But yeah.
I mean, you're going for like the golden lion, right?
I am the golden lion. Yes.
The golden den, maybe, or the den of gold.
I mean, yes.
Whenever somebody subscribes, they have joined the den.
Yeah. There's a few dens around though, isn't there?
True. Or joined the golden den.
Yeah. The Horde. I'm thinking, you know, Gold's Horde, you know, the Golden Horde. Also named after the Genghis Khan, you know.
Are you coming?
I'm coming. I'm beating people in the face, but I'm coming.
Alright.
It's alright.
Me and my brother already at extract.
You know how it is. I've got my knuckle dusters on.
Yeah.
Showing people the business.
Yep. But when it comes to that, I'm like, honestly, us Titans, we are very conditional in general. Everything we do, we have to do something in order to get that one thing. The only time we have ever had a one and done was Pyrogale Gauntlets that was added during Witch Queen, I think it was, if not before that. I might be wrong. It's been a while. I'm just saying as a heads up. I might be wrong. Pyrogale Gauntlet might have not shown up during Witch Queen, but if it did, then I'm thinking correctly. But Pyrogale Gauntlets, it makes the Titan's solar hammer, like the big hammer that it has, turn into one and done. And it makes it when you do the slide melee, you do slide melee, and it boosts the damage, and it makes that into a miniature nuke as well. But that's it.
Okay.
For Titan, on top of that, like Titan has been towards two main things specifically, but you have to be fully focusing only in one of those two things. So Titans have become more of either pure damage, like pure nuke, or pure survivability for fire. For when it comes to Void, you're either I have overshield, but it's very conditional for my overshield. And some people try saying, well, you know, get automatic overshield on Barricade. I'm like, yeah, Bastion? Yeah, no, we get a major increase to our cooldown timer, to our Barricade. If we take that, we have a longer duration for that. Why? Why do we have a longer duration? I state it should be the same duration. It should not add more to our duration.
Yeah.
So, like, I can understand in a balance point it would be there for like PvP, but like we don't get our thing that quickly. We can in a sense, but like it takes us certain builds to actually be able to do that. Like, even then, we have to take a very specific chest plate known as Heart of Innermost Light, also known as Hoyle. So if you hear me say Hoyle, that's what that is, Heart of Innermost Light. What Hoyle does is whenever you use one of your abilities, any of your other abilities get empowered for a duration. Your other abilities get empowered, and if they're on cooldown, it boosts their cooldown timer.
Yeah.
It boosts the cooldown regeneration, like at like double the rate. Hoyle's gotten nerfed, but I'm like, honestly, I can see why, because Hoyle used to do triple instead of double.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But on top of that, like in the long run, Solar Titan became either pure survivability, I will not die because of my sunspot, or I am pure nuke. Is what happened to Solar. Void is I have my overshield, but that's like I only have one ability that does a one and done that is not very conditional. Just the only thing is that my Barricade is taking a longer time to show up.
Yeah.
But and then it's like any other way of overshield is your super. I kid you not, your super. Or if you kill an enemy with your shield bash. That's it. You have to kill the enemy with the shield bash. If you hit the enemy with the shield bash, but it doesn't die, you don't get an overshield.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, that's very, very conditional. That's not healthy at that point. Why is it that conditional? Then, on top of that, like, you have to have certain armors on in order to, you have to have certain armors to actually do decent, but even then, it's like, you feel like as if you're tapering off still. Like, either way, you will still feel like you're tapering off, and it's like the other two classes are outdoing you. The other two classes outdo you in damage, in survivability, in just about everything, basically. The other two outscale you.
Well,
Ad
considering
clear.
considering isn't Guardian supposed to be like the tank in the first place? No.
The Titan is supposed to be the tank.
Titan,
Yes, but
yeah,
the thing
sorry,
is that.
yeah.
But the thing, yes, fine. The thing is that if not,
Do
right?
they really fall into those categories anymore, or not really?
They kind of do, but
Yeah.
here's the thing that people think like, oh, have you really played the other two classes? Yes, I have. I have genuinely played the other two. I hated the other two.
Well,
Like, I
yeah.
genuinely despise the other two because looking at what Titan had to offer, I'm like, so literally the other two classes are cheap. They're extremely cheap. One and done. You don't want to do much of anything. Just one, done. One button. And I'm like, that's not healthy.
It's not the gameplay you're looking for, yeah.
It's not even just not the gameplay I'm looking for, but it's like us Titans, we have to do something in order to get something else, or in order to be able to get more
virtual
benefits.
gameplay, yeah.
Yeah, it's like if I hit this, then I get this. If I do this, I then get this. In League of Legends, that's something that's like that's also conditional for like Poppy in League of Legends. She's very conditional as well. Like if I get this, then I get to do this. Same thing with Ornn. If I do this, I get to do this. And I'm like, that's only specifically balanced for League, but in Destiny, that's not okay. That is not healthy. Period. I don't care what anyone says. That's not healthy. Because if you have two of the three classes, that literally just, once I do it, it's done. Once I do it, it's done. Not, if I do this, then I can do it. No. If you have two classes that are one and dones, every class should be one and done then. If you have 2 out of the 3, all should be.
Yeah.
Not one should be conditional. That is immediately unbalanced and biased as all hell. And the thing is that, like, what makes it sad is that us Titans are the smallest percentage of the Destiny community.
Okay, so it feels like you're getting picked on.
We get picked on, and guess who picks on us the most? Hunters and Warlocks. Hunters more than ever, and Hunters are the largest percentage of the community as well.
Okay. So what is... yeah. Okay.
Hunter is the squishy. They have dodges, but they do high nuking potential, like singular.
They're like DPS, are they?
They're like high DPS, yes.
Yeah.
Warlocks, Warlocks are mainly ad clear. Ad clear, by the way, is like mowing down a bunch of enemies in a singular room very quickly. Like basically, think of it like when I stated about room nukes. Think of it that way.
Yeah.
That's what Warlocks basically are the room nukes. Then you have Hunter, who is the nuke, like the boss nuking. And then you have Titan, which is supposed to be the brunt force, the tank of the tank. You know, he's supposed to be able to absorb the damage. But I noticed this as a Hunter, which I was not too happy about at all. Like, it made me annoyed. That, like, some people like, oh, well, Hunters, you just, you can't dodge, you can't, like, eat damage, you just die. I have literally been hit with a nuke at the same time I went ahead and hit a dodge, and I took no damage from the nuke when I did the dodge at the same time I'm supposed to be hit with the nuke.
Yeah.
So, no.
I've got a Phase Spectre X5 blueprint. Replay a
that's just
clone
the tier 1. It just copies yours.
Warframe. Okay, what's that do? How do I use that?
So basically, when you build that, you put that on your gear wheel. On top of that, it copies your Warframe and your kit that you have. Like, whatever weapons you have equipped, it will use those weapons.
That sounds cool. Is it? I need to build it in the foundry first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a foundry thing? It is.
So whatever
a
Warframe,
thing.
yes, whatever Warframe and weapons you have equipped at that time will be what that Spectre will be, and it will copy that. That Spectre will copy that.
No Spectre loadout. Okay, apply.
Depending on the tier of the Spectre, which the highest tier is 4, depending on the tier of the Spectre will depend on like what abilities it will use and how much what the scalings of its damage is and how much health it'll have, all that stuff.
No worries. Well, literally, this is my gear, so yeah, let's see what that does in 7 hours. Well, next Wednesday, but yeah. Sweet.
But yeah, like for those 3 for Destiny, Hunters and Warlocks are one and dones. The Titans are conditional. Not healthy, period. No, enough said for that.
Yeah.
For balancing, I've looked at a lot of stuff, and I'm like, honestly, if you really want to balance it out, you will have to still nerf the other two classes, but you'll have to buff the Titans as you nerf the other two. Now, I'm not saying making Titan the best of the best, that equals as using bias. No, I'm saying even out the power score.
Yeah.
Evening it out would literally mean you have to nerf the other two and buff the Titan a little bit more than what we're getting right now.
Yeah.
That's to balance it. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be healthy. And the game, then Titans are still going to feel like, why the hell are we here?
Yeah, it's kind of like you're... Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I left. I'm like, no. And the problem is that they wanted to try and, you know, change up the Titans.
So I guess
help
that
the
was
Titans
going to
after
be
the
my
reject.
next question. What are they trying to do with the Titan then?
Honestly, all I've seen is mostly they're gonna try and buff some of the stuff for Prismatic. They're gonna try bringing Banner of War, which Banner of War they nerfed that, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I know how Banner of War is. The only way Banner of War is gonna be good for Prismatic is if you buff it back to how it used to be. Period. You'd have to. So Banner of War, what it does is just, whenever you gain a like tether or something like that, whenever you like kill an enemy with Strand, you gain a tether orb, right?
Yeah.
And that's not just Banner of War. That's just with Strand in general. With that Strand little like Strand bundle that you grab, it then starts Banner of War. While you have Banner of War, your melee and all your allies' melee get more, like more melee energy or more melee regen, and I think a little bit more melee damage. Even for your swords as well, I think also count to this when you have Banner. And as long as you killed enemies with the Banner of War on, it could keep it up, but it only would give you 1 extra second or something like that, or 2 extra seconds of Banner of War.
Yeah.
So if done correctly, you could keep it up infinitely. And back then, it used to give you Woven Mail, and Woven Mail is a damage reduction, by the way, and it would heal you on its pulses whenever you would hit with the melee. They removed the healing factor in it, and I think they also removed the Woven Mail, if I remember correctly, when they nerfed it. And the thing is, it was because of, they were completely unkillable at that point. Like I said, they were they would not die at all if done correctly. That meant you have to actually kill the enemies constantly with melee in order for you to actually, do that.
Yeah.
If you couldn't constantly keep killing enemies with the melee, then, it ran out. There's not much you could really do.
Yeah.
So you had to kill enemies with melee specifically to keep it going. And that's from, that balances that part out. You have to keep killing enemies with melee in order to keep it going. Specifically.
Yeah.
When it came to, when it came to the nerfs, I'm like, okay, it makes sense a little bit, but the thing is that, we have to keep that going. And if we don't keep it going, it's like, why does this need to be nerfed? Because in certain, in PvP, you could potentially keep it going for, well over not half an hour, but, well over, a couple of minutes or so, right? And doing so, it's like, well, you can easily just keep it up for, a couple of minutes, even though we expected it to only stay for, for a few bits of time, right? Not for, an infinite duration or whatever, right? Not for a very long duration. And, that's why I say, the game was like, oh, well, you have a high duration, you have a pretty good way of keeping that duration going for your damage reduction, your melee recharge rate, your melee damage getting boosted and everything. Well, let's go ahead and nerf that. Banner of War is literally what made Titan feel like a Titan again. And you didn't have any armor to make it feel like a Titan.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you.
A lot of the time, you have to have your armor to actually make your Titan feel good. I kid you not. a lot of the time it's like you have to do that in order to feel good playing Titan. You have to have an armor piece to actually feel like you're a Titan. But if you don't have that, then what do you have at that point? What do you have for option? Well, time to go to Hunter. Well, time to go to Warlock. That should not be the answer.
Yeah.
With the newest raid that we got from the final shape.
Ideally, you would want to be able to do all the content with whichever class you pick, you know?
Right. When it came to the newest raid that came out as well with the final shape, right?
Yeah.
And I call it as this final shape raid a lot of the time because it's known as Salvation's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
If you do when you do Salvation's Edge, Titans struggle on the last encounter specifically, and which is like, you know, the end of the raid. But on top of that, like, I noticed this big time that the more Titans that we had for the during the raid,
yeah,
the lower the percentage chances we were able to complete each section. And there was 5 sections
Well executed.
for each encounter. Then there were 5 encounters. It felt like the more Titans we had, the harder and lower percentage chances we had of actually beating that encounter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not good.
So
and
so that's why you're stepping away from Destiny for a bit.
Not
Or
only
you
just
giving it up
that,
for good, or
I've given up the game because the thing is that, like, they were like, oh well, we see some of the problems with Titan, but we're not going to be able to. But we're going to go ahead and try. And so we're going to go ahead and try and make some changes. I'm like, okay, so they're going to make the changes at least before they no longer get. You can no longer get the jacket and bag. No. They're going to wait till after you can no longer get the jacket and bag to actually fix the frickin' Titan class. And I was done. I wanted that raid bag and raid jacket specifically because I wanted those. Those are going to be supremely, like, rare, supremely rare collectible items. I wanted the jacket for myself, and I literally canceled my invitation to my older sister's baby shower to try and get the dang thing done.
Oh dear, yeah.
And then they extended it. What made it worse was that they extended the time for you to be able to beat the raid. They extended the time to beat the raid. And in doing so, they did it on the, like, already too
So
late
it's
for me to go ahead and say, never mind,
it's like they're rewarding your loyalty with not good stuff.
No, it was good stuff. It's like, it's really rare stuff. You don't easily just, you know, oh well, I just got this thing today. No, they only have very specific, and they're a very specific design.
Okay.
Each raid jacket and raid bag is a different design, and they're collectible items. They're like collector's items.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be in pristine condition as a collector's item for my niece. When my niece is born, it would be a present for her. That if she never uses it, I've had 3 possible scenarios, I think. If she never uses it and keeps it in its packaging and keeps it in pristine condition, when she's, like, about to go to college and stuff like that, she could sell it for thousands of dollars because it's a high collectible item. Like, tens of thousands of dollars she could literally sell that bag for.
Tower lost.
Right? If she wanted to keep it, and she kept it in still a good, decent condition that people would recognize it, if Destiny still stayed alive, not Destiny 2, but the Destiny franchise still stayed alive, she would get recognition from friends of hers that play the game, and she could actually have more friends that way. Because they're like, oh shit, no way! You got the fucking Destiny bag? Shit! Like, you know, get that type of shit, like recognition. Giving her recognition. And then it's like, or she could just have the bag if she just wants it for herself and just, you know, and don't care about the recognition, but just like, hey, you know, it's a good bag to, you know, like a good duffel bag for college and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All that jazz.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be that type of, like, a big, major special present.
Yeah.
But, again, when it came to the point of, like, what made me more angry And I'm not too upset. I'm not upset with our group, but I'm more upset with with everything in general.
All right.
Me and Explorer, one of Shadow's friends as well.
Yeah.
A mutual friend between us two.
Yeah.
Explorer and I, we were literally like being on everyone's ass, saying, "If you say you're gonna show up, you better fucking show up." We are not wasting time.
Was this for like a raid or something?
This was for the raid, the Salvation's Edge raid.
Well,
The
yeah.
enemy has
Cool.
captured the
Yeah.
tower.
Yeah.
We were on everyone's asses. We made sure we were on everyone's asses. We were extremely uptight.
Yeah.
And even Shadow's like, "Shoggy, you're really uptight lately ever since this raid stuff." I'm like, look at what Bungie has done to Titan. Look at how hard it's getting the more Titans we have to actually beat this raid. And look at what the raid has in total. And look how much us Titans are screwed in this raid specifically.
Yeah.
And then also, me and Explorer wanted to get this raid done as fast as possible.
Yeah.
I kid you not. We wanted to get it done as soon as possible, as fast as possible.
Just get it done.
And we literally had to wait on everybody. Almost all the time. And the things we don't like going to Fire Team Finder or anything like that. We do not like LFG because there's so many people that are like, "Oh, well, if you're not using this, then we're gonna fail." But the problem was on top of that was that like the game, the raid is so grueling.
Yeah.
Like I would say, it's the most grueling out of all the raids combined. Out of all raids and dungeons and strikes combined, this raid literally like punches it full throttle.
Yeah.
It is that it's that level of like difficulty if you are playing with a bunch of Titans. The less the Titans you have, the better it feels, but the more the Titans you have, the worse it feels. And that's not healthy at all.
Yeah.
You should not feel bad for playing a Titan, and I felt bad playing a Titan.
Yeah. Well, that's not
And the
good.
Titan's the only class I played the most. I didn't have the other two because I deleted their files for one, and two, with Warlock specifically, I had a file on my cousin's PlayStation. I hated it. Or not PlayStation, their Xbox. I hated it.
Yeah.
I loved the Titan. Titan was always my number one.
The go-to, yeah.
Like
So
the Hunter, I went at the last, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't like Hunter. Hunter was just like, why? And I've always liked conditional. I've always liked challenging, but I'm like, why is it that these other two classes are one and dones and Titans are conditional? We should not be doing that. And with what one viewer said in your chat, yes, I do agree. You know, Titans, when we actually get to do our thing, everyone's jealous and mad.
Yes.
Most of the time it's PvP than PvE, but it does still be a problem. Like it's still not okay. And when Bungie's listening to like hunters and warlocks, I sit there and I go, if it's from PvP, you should not be listening. Because if you can't separate, and this is the reason why I say this for Bungie specifically. If you cannot separate the buffs and nerfs to PvP and PvE as two separate things like they did for the scalings of the guns and stuff, if you cannot be able to make it as two separate systems and buff and nerf them in those two separate systems, don't nerf anything because of PvP only. It has to have PvE as well as the issue. If it's not both, don't touch it. Period.
Yeah.
That's why I state, like, when it comes to MMOs, once they have a PvP, it's a problem. Like that.
Yeah.
There's no questions about it. Immediately they have a PvP.
Oh, so you must possess a Archwing to complete an Archwing quest to play this mission. Okay. Archwing quest. Is that this one?
Not an Archwing quest, but alright.
So, I'm doing all of
an Archwing quest. No, that's a story mission quest. The Archwing quest.
Fair enough.
Story mission specific. Yeah.
No worries.
But Titans that have been that badly screwed.
Yeah.
And no matter what we do for buffs to them, if it's not to the same par as the other two. Suck my nards. That's what I say to Bungie.
Fair enough.
Suck my
Fair
nards.
enough, mate.
Until you can buff it to the other two. No. Destiny. No. Bungie can suck it. Even if we get Destiny 3, I made a massive like angered post about it too. Like I made sure that my voice was known when I placed down my review as well.
Yeah.
And I went off because I'm just like, Bungie doesn't know how to balance. Period. They have the most unbalanced BS in the game.
Yeah.
Warframe is in its most unbalanced state it's been in, but not the most unbalanced MMO.
Yeah.
Bungie's Destiny is the worst MMO and has the worst balancing in the entire game.
The ship for supplies.
Yeah.
Period.
Trigger the
And
alarm.
and Titan is the biggest like viewpoint on it. Because here's the thing,
Life
Titans are
support
are literally the poster
They're trying to
boys
choke you out.
of the
Hold
game.
on. I'm sending
I kid you
auxiliary
not.
Life support.
Titans are the poster boys. But we're the most screwed class in the game. And most of the time, not even Bungie knows what to do with it.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm like, that's just
Fallen
bad.
enemies will drop
It's
crucial
just bad
lessons.
design at that point.
Be on the lookout.
Like, why did you do this?
Yeah.
Bungie could have tried to find ways to make it, like, you know, not screwball.
So where do you think, I suppose, is it because it's got PvP, like it's so unbalanced or unbalanceable? Or is it
I
just they
think
don't know?
because of the
Yeah.
PvP, yeah, it's going to be difficult to balance it at this point.
So,
The only way you can
so-
balance it is
yeah.
not looking at PvP at all, looking at
Yeah.
purely at PvE. Get rid of your PvP system
Or
and make a
separate
better
them.
system for PvE.
Yeah, yeah, or separate them, yeah.
Yeah, or separate it, yeah. And that would be the only way to actually properly fix stuff, because it's like if so many nerfs are because of PvP, but in reality when you nerf the PvP, it's also nerfing the PvE, and the PvE isn't having this much of the issue,
Yeah.
then there's the disparity right there. You have immediately screwed up. You
Yeah.
should not be doing that at all. Where is it? I don't see it. Look right there.
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time.
So that's why I state, like, barreling down to that specifically, for some reason, I got the war blueprint first try this time. Jesus. But, like, yeah, it would have to be, they'd have to really, like, giga buff Titans and separate PvP and PvE when it comes to buffing and nerfing. And they need to make two separate systems. Period. Otherwise, if they're gonna stick with what they have and saying like, oh, we're not gonna separate PvE and PvP, then there's always gonna be an unbalanced hot mess of garbage.
Well, yeah. Well, I was just thinking about it, like, how would you solve that problem if that was our game? How would you solve that? I would just literally separate the two modes, like make them different things, because, yeah, because otherwise you end up
the balance can end up very bad for one side compared to the other, and yeah, that's how like with Bungie, like I stated, for any MMORPG, if you're going to add PvP, now this is just for any MMORPG, if you're gonna add PvP, sit it on a separate system, have it as a subsystem, like in Warframe. Warframe has it as a subsystem for their PvP, even though the PvP's dead, they have it as a subsystem.
Yeah.
I'm like, why can't Bungie do that? And I don't want to hear people saying, oh, well, Bungie's a small indie company. They made Halo, for Pete's sakes, until Microsoft took it away from them and bought it off from them. So they could focus more on Destiny. Don't try me.
Yeah.
I've had that discussion. I have. I'm like, I can understand an indie company, but like when they used to make the Halo games,
Yeah.
and Microsoft grabbed it from them, okay, they got a massive payout. That means they can easily fix these problems. Sony doesn't like a lot of the stuff that they're doing, so they're budget cutting them. On top of that, though, Sony's also done some problems. But the thing is that the Bungie crew don't know balance. Period. Like, I state this, when it comes to my MMORPG, I'm going to be the head of the balance department, specifically. And I have stated this. Not one single... I literally have stated this to my friend for my MMO.
Let's cheer the topic up a little bit, because, let's turn it into something positive. No, it's all good. It's all good. I was just going to ask you more about, like, your MMO, maybe.
Right.
Specifically, like, would you, what like setting would you put it in? Like futuristic, aliens? Are we talking medieval? Are we talking fantasy?
It'll probably be still like fantasy.
Post-apocalyptic, maybe. You know.
It will still be like fantasy. I don't know fully. Like, I'm still debating on whether if I should mix it up.
See, because one of the ideas that I've had in the past in making an MMO or game is have it that ancient ancestors type game where it's the forgotten past of the humans, like a human's forgotten past. So so literally it's the distant past. So much so that so the story is we arrived on Earth. How did we get here and where did we come from? It kind of has a crack at that question, and so we've got to the modern age, yes, but the story is the distant past of how we got here. So that's pretty fun. And all about what is meant to be gods and things. Yeah, so that's the sort of idea that I like to think about. So it might even look futuristic and sci-fi-y, but it could be our ancestors, you know.
All right.
So yeah.
Well, let's go. Good traction.
Yeah.
That's honestly interesting of a thought.
Yeah, because
Yeah. You coming? Or are you lost?
A little bit lost, yeah. That's all good.
Alright, I'm on my way back.
I'll follow the green flashy. Good. It's all good. It's all good.
Sometimes the green flashy can be very misleading.
Yeah.
That's why I'm coming back right now, in case it's misleading. And I think it is. Okay. Turn around. With me.
Yeah.
Follow the majestic fat man. Okay, good. We just keep going straight from here.
Cool. Cool beans. But, yeah.
I did want to mention, though, for, like, my MMO,
yeah,
I will be the head of balance, specifically because I don't want anybody in the balance team when we do have when the game actually, like, starts going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it gets to balancing. I'll
happily be in the story department.
Yeah.
I'll happily do the stories for you guys.
Yeah.
Or help with either of those. Right. Being a DM for a living world, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the balance department, I will be the head of, and we do not put anything, nothing.
Well, for starters,
past me first.
Well, yeah. For starters, you separate PvP and PvE.
And there will be no PvP in my game.
No PvP. No, that solves that problem then. That solves that problem. So yeah.
Right. But I also don't want any one class to be stronger than everyone else. On top of that, that'll be imbalanced.
So here's my solution to that is there's one class and you train in what you want to train in, and then you build your character into whatever you want, with the goal of the fact that you can train into whichever you want. That's how I would do it, rather than start with like 3 classes. I would have it literally you build your class how you want, like you'll That's how.
So think of it in the sense where with my game, I would have it like let me think here. I would have my game more like WoW. You get to choose from a big slew of classes to start with.
Yeah. So maybe so maybe combining the two ideas would be, you know, you make a character and then pick from a reel of classes, but in the game you could probably pick up manuals for the other ones, something like that. No,
that one I wouldn't know, because the thing is, with my campaign, remember how I stated that there are special classes that branch off from the base class, right?
Yeah.
Check navigation.
That is why I say no.
Fair enough.
Because the special classes are like the branches that you can choose from for your starter classes that you start off with for the MMO.
Yeah.
So that's why I wouldn't want people trying to multi-class. This is specifically like you pick this one starter class, and then you have like 2 choices for your special class, and then each branch has 2 choices to it. Maybe one has 6, like Mountain Carver, for example, right?
Yeah.
Mountain Carver has 3 different weapon archetypes you can take. So with Mountain Carver, there would then be 6 different branches you can start from, but it depends on which weapon, depends on which of the 2 that you get to choose from. So let's say you start with dual shield, you have 2. Dual tonfas, you have 2. Dual axes, you still have 2. So that's how that type of thing goes.
Yeah, that sounds cool though. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, that's why I try and think in that sort of like type of way of when it comes to my campaign, and with like I'm putting a lot of the shit that I have in my campaign into the MMO. That's the thing. All that I'm writing for the campaign will be transferred into the MMO. But it's just then I'll just tweak the numbers for balancing at that point, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So, the only thing that like I wouldn't care too much about is the numbers when it came to the campaign, or not to the campaign, to the MMO, because that can easily be balanced out.
Yeah.
Hey buddy, how you doing?
Hello, Dragon. How you doing, friend? You right? And happy birthday! It's your birthday sometime soon, no? Happy birthday, mate.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Indeed.
But yeah, it's to the point where it's like all classes are powerful in a way, but it's like, you know, they're very specific.
Everyone has their role, yeah.
Yes, that's why it's like it makes it to where it is balanced in that sort of way. Where like that's why I state when it would come to the balance department.
I also like that. I also like that. I like it in the fact that like no one person can do everything. That's also a good way to do it as well.
Yeah, like,
you know,
because on top of that, it's like there'll be multiple people. Like, I hope at some point, like, of course, when it starts out, it'll be very tough to really get it going. But once it gets going, you know, the groups can grow. The more the actual game grows itself. But on top of that, right, when it comes to balance and so on and so forth, I want to make sure that when I make the classes and everything like that, they don't need to be, buffed or nerfed. If they do, that's going to be because of certain things, but, you know, only I would have to look at everything, because the thing is, of course, I'm paying attention to every detail in the game. That's another thing. I pay attention to detail way too much. Like, even when I write for my D&D campaign, I make sure I put as much detail as possible.
Yeah.
So, to where it's like, because even in Warframe, there is stuff that I have found on Warframe and understood on Warframe that the wikis don't speak about.
Nice.
So that's, like, I pay attention to so much. I'm like, there are even weapons that are so slept on that meta heads will never look at, but I'm like, bro, you are actually sleeping on this. This is an actual sleeper build.
Yeah.
So this is a sleeper weapon. So, like, there's stuff like that in Warframe where it's sort of like, if let's say, you know, I make the MMO. The MMO's finished and all that, right? The MMO's done and all that jazz.
Okay, so that's another kind of question you want to answer, probably, before you begin, is are you going to be finished with the MMO, or is it going to be like Warframe where they continually update it? You know,
continually update it. It'll be like continually updating, so on and so forth, because that's also what keeps the game alive for so long, is you're continuously updating and updating and updating and updating.
Yeah.
So I want to do something like that.
Keep it alive like that, yeah.
Yeah. Because if I can keep it alive constantly, then it's going to be a good thing to keep going.
Yeah.
On top of that, like I stated, you doing like multiple little updates here and there is still going to be good, and adding more expansions, of course, would always be wanted and warranted.
Yeah, because
So,
then also with
I
the class wheel, you could always add more classes in as well. So that's cool.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And more special classes, or from the base classes, and you have your special classes. I can add another branch whenever we have a new expansion. All classes get a new like special class ramp up, or another special class, or that another special class branch, so on and so forth. Like maybe I might add 3 branches, starter branches, instead of 2. Maybe the last branch that we have has more to it then, so on and so forth like that. It's moreover of which direction are you gonna go, and which direction is the game gonna go. Those are 2 good questions that would be coming up. What direction would I go for the MMO? Direction I would go for is to balance out anything new added in. You would have to touch every single class. And there's another thing that comes into play that I state that League does bad, but Dota does good, is for when Dota adds in something new, and they're going to be like, you know, nerfing or buffing certain abilities from certain heroes, and so on and so forth, right? They touch almost every single hero in the book that they have. Every one of them get touched. It's either every one of them, or like maybe a couple, only a couple don't get touched because they're going to be just fine in the new update.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or the new patch.
Yeah.
Whereas in everyone else, like, in order to balance everything else, it's going to be needed. Thank you for redeeming the swig.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, when it comes to that...
So have you got a story in mind, or...
I already have the story in mind, yeah. I already have, like, the story and stuff.
Yeah, so let's hear some of that.
So the story, I don't want to really spoil it for now. I want it to be, I want it to be, like, still hidden, because it's still fully in the works.
Yeah, makes sense,
Because I'm still trying to make sure I get the right setting.
Yeah.
On top of that, like, I have to start writing a bit more in it.
Yeah.
Because I can't do my fan-made book series, because otherwise I'm gonna get flagged by Riot. And I don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so another question to help you, I suppose, is like, okay, so is it going to be first person, third person,
Third
base
person,
builder?
that's 100%. Third person.
Are you going to have any any base building in it?
No.
No.
So it's gonna be like I said, it's gonna be like kind of look at WoW, how WoW is.
Yeah.
Think of like how World of Warcraft is. That's kind of how our MMO is gonna be like, at least. Not literally, but it was like.
Hi Fire, how you doing, buddy? Welcome in, my red dragon friend. How you doing, friend? Welcome.
So like.
Thank you for the follow, my fiery friend. How you doing?
Oh, Goji's asking if you can join the call.
Absolutely, jump on in, bud. Jump on in. No worries.
Yeah, we're in Goldheart server.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.